Hey, it's Grandpa Photographer, and I did 400 photo sessions a year at a $300 average from 2010 to 2016. I'm giving this all away. The method of getting customers, and I'm giving it to you at no cost, absolutely free. And if you subscribe and you share, and I could see there's a following, I will post more details and more free instruction on the setup. I'll post information on the appointment making and the selling, and I can no longer be out there. I am not as active as I used to be, but I do want to help and encourage photographers to keep doing this and just how to learn to be successful. Just let me mentor you a little bit with free information and get you going. Hey, Grandpa Photographer, part two of the pre-sell and how I got sittings. I can't tell people what to do, but I can tell you what I did that worked for me. I had studios back in the 80s and 90s. I won't go into all that. I'm sure I've touched on that in different videos that I've made. But let's just talk about my uncle when he passed away in 2013 of cancer. I wanted to raise money for cancer as a way of contributing in honor of my uncle. So I joined a team. It's called Relay for Life. And in the Relay for Life, you can have 10 members on your team. And some of the teams were 50 people. Everybody's trying to raise money. They have ways, sometimes they're selling things. They could be selling pastries. There's all different ways they could be knocking on doors. They can have different benefits that they're offering to people if they make a donation. With my fundraiser that I came up with, it's American Cancer Relay for Life, one in-home or on-location professional photography session, plus one 8x10, one 5x7, and four 2x3s portraits, $24. Regularly $195. That's all of the specifics that I put in the fine print, and then people would actually be able to give these somebody who was making a donation. They could do it with a credit card, they could do it with cash, but cancer would get 100% of the money. That was the beauty of this. The beauty for me is I would get the customer. And also, what was really, I think, fantastic about it is that everybody felt connected. So when you went to somebody's house to do the pictures, at the park or at their home, it was so gracious. Everybody was on the same page. So when I would photograph people, I'd have a price list, and I have two different ones at this point. But I would just show one of these to people and let them pick what they wanted, and I would, of course, condition them. I call it conditioning. Conditioning is when I'm talking to them. If you watch the Making Appointment video that I have, it explains everything as far as every time I talk to them, I tell them over and over again what we're going to be doing. I want no misunderstandings, because these people are very special, and all our customers are very special. We want to make sure that we're giving them just all the information that is necessary so we can have a very successful photo session and sales thing. And so I would photograph them and then sell them. I had to have an appointment setter. I had so many people that needed to be called. I hired an appointment setter to call the people. Now, the thing about this is not everybody books, because sometimes they're doing it as a favor for a friend. Sometimes they live out of the area that I would service, but that's not the point. The point is I had a lot of sittings, and I was busy constantly. And very important, what I also explained to the people that ran the relays was that I was going to come up. There's people in charge. It's really a great organization. But I would explain to them, I'm going to donate my time, a full day of all of their activities, all the teams. I'm going to photograph them and donate all the pictures to them and make them up a picture board, one or two of them, depending on how much money I was able to raise. But this is the idea of a picture board, which is about 30 pictures on a 16 by 20 on a board that hangs up, and this way they can have a history of the event as the years go by. So it was very effective. And it was, Chino had 100, their teams had 50 people on them. I got so good at posing groups. One thing I insisted, And if you look at them, I would not let anybody wear sunglasses, because sunglasses cover your eyes, and your eyes are who you are. They call it the window to the soul, your windows to the soul years ago. And I think it's so true. So I would insist on people take off the sunglasses because you want to see their faces. But I would pose them. I got so good at doing groups, and then I would photograph that. I would photograph the events. I would photograph the nighttime things. They have they put, they used to be candles, but they put little lights, battery powered lights in a paper bag that lights up and illuminates. And I have one for my Uncle Joe out there, just to honor him in the loss. It's always something when we lose people we love. And but it was just so meaningful. It provides you what people call closure. What closure is that it's a feeling that you're at peace with the loss of a person, and it allows you, it facilitates the beginning of the healing process as we move on through our lives without that person. Very simple, but very, very meaningful. But the Relays for Life are so special, and also the customers that you will get if you do it that way. It's just such a nice way to be taking pictures. Everybody gets along. There is no pressure in the way. I would just, if they wanted to cancel, I would cancel them. I wanted to remain friends with everybody. That was the goal. And business was good. As I said, it was a $300 average. And now, that's Relay for Life. But also, what I found out, I was volunteering at a high school, Blair High School in Pasadena, years ago. And we were brought in to, some of us in the community know people. Hey, could you come over if you have time, lunch period, and just walk the campus? The school's a little bit in crisis right now. We just want people to make a present. So that's what I did. And then you start talking to the different people, the parents, the mothers are just phenomenal. And they would say things like, oh, gee, the school needs to raise money. The cheerleaders, the band, they have no equipment. Cheerleaders they need outfits, And so they would say, I'd say, well, look, I have a fundraiser that I've been doing, and I'd be happy to do that with you. The school can keep the money, and the mothers can sell the packages. And so it went on to that route. So then the mother said, well, Mike, why don't you approach the coaches? Soccer, football, baseball, volleyball. All these coaches are in charge of their kids raising money to participate in the sport, whether it's shoes, whether it's uniforms, whether it's pom-poms for cheerleaders, or wooden boxes that they stand on, or megaphones that they yell through. And the coaches can make their own decisions. So I started approaching different high schools. And cheerleading was just exceptional. Now, one thing to understand about schools, whether it's any sport, the photographers, professional photographers, all come out to the schools and they do a one visit. They're going to take individual pictures of the teammates, and they're going to do group shots. And that's it. They're done for the year. All right? Now, with the cheer, what I would tell the coaches is that, look, and just a suggestion, when I went on to the school property, I always had a name tag or a lanyard with my name on it. I'd always carry a clipboard with a pen to write down information. I'd introduce myself. I'd have a business card. Mike Bohinnick, it was Michael Bohinnick Photography at that point. And then I would just explain to the coaches that I had different fundraisers like this one here. This was for the American Heart Association, which really has nothing to do with the high schools. But I would put different items with it to make it easy for people to sell. Like I would have in California, we have Carl's Jr. This book gives people $20 worth of absolutely free stuff. A free fry, a free burger, a free soda. This one here was for a local restaurant in town, $10 gift certificate. I would try to give special things to make it easy for the kids to sell. The cheerleaders would sell the packet. I'd give them some of these certificates, and they would sell them and collect the money. And the moms would take over. Moms would sell them. Moms would sell about 15 a piece, which is really crazy when you come right down to it. The moms get very involved with their daughters or their sons in cheer. It's great. And so they would, friends and relatives, and as I said before, out of the area sometimes. But that would get me a lot of sittings. And again, they're very qualified sittings because again, thank you for what you're doing for the kids. And they would thank me for what I was doing for the kids. It's just interesting. And so the photographers come once. So what I would say to the coaches, well, look, we're going to do the fundraiser, and then I'll come to a game, and I'll photograph the entire game, the cheer section. I'll come to a practice. If you have any special requests, let me know. Excuse me. And one coach that I work with said, he goes, Mike, he says, I can't believe I had my own photographer for this. This guy wanted to win. It's something we don't keep in mind. Coaches want to win, and they want to have bragging rights. So pictures give them a way of showing, displaying what they do. You go into any high school, they have pictures all over the place. Trophies, they have a trophy cabinet and things like that. So this was exciting, not only for the coach, but for me to get involved. And so then I go to a football game, and so I am, looking up in the stands. What are the cheerleaders doing up in the stands? They're selling cupcakes. Selling cupcakes, to raise money. Give me those packets. I go up in the stands. I got to know everybody. Hey, it's Mike the photographer. Okay, you want to buy a packet? You help the girls out? Oh, sure. And so it got to be a really fun thing. But and you could see by some of the pictures that I show, there's just a lot of emotion that goes into these kids and their parents and the coaches trying to get everything accomplished. So then it went to soccer. Artesia High School, soccer teams. I was doing that for a few years. And you talk about community. You talk about being connected as a photographer. So I go and I'm photographing kids, soccer, girls. So coach, really cool. So now I'm calling people, making appointments. Appointment center makes me an appointment. I go into a house, 24-year-old girl, she's got a baby. I'm photographing the baby, and I'm talking about, hey, what was this? She goes, oh, I got one of her cousin, I think it was, plays soccer, younger cousin, and I talk about the coach, and she says, yeah, he was my coach back when I was 15, and I'm sitting here and I get chills, and here I am photographing her baby, and she's talked about what an outstanding job this guy did, and I'm standing there. It's very very heartfelt. So this is the way I was getting settings. Soccer, all the different sports. Cheer is a big one. Now the thing that I didn't understand at the time is that I thought you needed to be a member, you needed to connect with the PTA and get the city to vote on you going in and being a photographer. The coaches make their own decisions. I don't know if it works like that everywhere, but in California, and that's what I did. I was doing it in many different areas of California. But between those two things, those are the way that I got settings. And it was very, very cool. Very nice. And now that I'm grandpa photographer, I'm a little bit older, it's hard for me to get out and do settings, and I've got some other ailments, but I can pass this information on to you. Now the thing about when you get settings, now I would do it where I would make the appointment, and I tell them two things. I'm going to be taking the pictures, and right after that, I'm going to show the pictures on my mini computer laptop. You're going to be able to choose for the special offer. Remember, they get an 8x10, a 5x7, and 4 2x3s. And then anything else they like, they can purchase at that time or order at that time, and it takes me about 3 weeks to get them mailed to them. I tell them all these things. And then I would go in and take the pictures. Right after that, I put them on a laptop, and then I come out with a price list. I come out with samples, and if you're going to do that system, then you need samples. And this is what I have for babies. I mean, I don't know if you can see that there's a glare on some of these sometimes, but it's a montage. It's just beautiful stuff. Because people say, I don't want pictures. I want the images. And that's wonderful. Except that's why I incorporated 3 different outfits on the babies. 3 different outfits is just a game changer. Because when you have the babies dressed in different outfits, that gives it a whole different look. When you put those pictures on display and people see that, it makes the montage a lot more sellable. And you can see behind me I have certain things. I do it on families, I do it on children, babies. If you're going to sell after you shoot, there's two ways you can do it. Because people are always going to ask you. If you want to stick with the images, you can just give them a price on all the images that you've taken. You can show them to them, or you don't even have to show them to them. You just give them to them. But basically, you show them to them, and you quote them a price. But if you do it the way I do it, what you do is you explain how it works, and then you sell the pictures, and you shoot to sell. Now, what does that mean? Well, when I would do a family, I would do family, unit, parents, children, and then breakdown. If it's a boy and a girl, I'd photograph the boy with mom, the girl with dad. If it was 3 children, I would just do little different arrangements to make it really, when you put them together in a montage, it's just you're getting different glimpses of the family, parents, children, etc. If there was a little baby with older children, it's just super stuff. But that is what the pre-sale is all about. So in order to get settings, it's a very simple way that I did it. I'm not sure you want to do it that way, but if you do, it really works. It's just a great way to do it. And if you want to build a business, there's no better way than getting your name and your face out there when you join teams for like American Cancer, or when you're working with high school kids and you're going to the games, and all the kids get to know you. Hey, Mike, take my picture. Hey. It's just a wonderful thing. So I think professional photography is an excellent career. And just another thing, I've got a couple of things here. I crossed out the names, but this is the post office here. I mailed these out. These are back from, I think it's 2019. But to give you an idea, look, I didn't spend a lot of money on trying to do this business, because every time I came up with a receipt, I would get it printed, I'd get NCR copies, and it would be obsolete because I made a mistake, or this would be better to put on here. So I just made these and printed them myself. I work with carbon paper. You don't have to be fancy on this. If you're starting out, I assure you the customers never cared about what I wrote my receipts on or how sloppy it was. You look at this. But look here, this one here is $390. This one here is $390. This one here is $330. And this one here is $99.95. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to give you an idea, it's all very doable. It's just very doable. So, Grandpa Photographer, I'm going to have more info videos that come out on different subjects. So, stay tuned.